Welcome to Proverbs 31 Creatives. My name is Sabreena Coleman. I'm so excited for this new chapter in my walk with the Lord. My goal with this podcast is to encourage other women to grow their creativity, entrepreneurship, finances, life, health, and most importantly, grow closer to Jesus. I'll be having conversations with guests with anointed women in faith and learning right along with you. Are you ready to start your journey to become the creative Proverbs 31 woman you've always wanted to be? All right, let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Proverbs 31 Creatives. I'm your host, Sabreena Coleman. I am so excited for you guys to hear this conversation today. This is Sabreena Cobb. She is the founder of Faith and Flourish Co. Her story, you guys are going to just be blessed by this conversation. It reminds me so much of the story in the Bible of the 5 loaves, 2 fish, where the Lord took the little that she had and is using it for his glory beyond measure. And I'm so excited for this conversation. So, Sabreena, welcome to Proverbs 31 Creatives.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
It's going to be such a good conversation. So, let's just dive in. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I'm Sabreena. I am actually a stay-at-home mom and the owner of Faith and Flourish Co. So it's a faith-based business. We hand paint Bibles, and then I have some Christian merchandise. I'm also a homeschool mom. And yes, that's pretty much it.
I love the intricate detailing of your art, of your paintings, and I had to have you on during our creativity theme this month. I feel like you are the perfect fit for the Proverbs 31 creatives, and so I just really wanted to come on and hear a little bit more about your story. So how did Faith and Flourish Co., how did that even start?
Okay, so I always felt like I wanted to have a Christian-based business, but I didn't really know what that looked like or what it even entailed, and just didn't feel like I was in the season for that, and just continued to pray about it. I actually took an entire year off of social media after closing a Christian store I had with my mother-in-law. And so it's a little bit defeating, and I was really just unsure as to where God was leading me because I felt so strongly that I was supposed to have this faith-based business, but then I was witnessing it um, close before my eyes. And so that was a really hard thing to go through. And so I decided to take an entire year off of social media. And then fast forward about April of last year, I decided to hand paint a Bible. I'd kind of played around with the painting and like painting the Bibles before. And so I decided to just do it. And I posted it on just like my regular friends' social media. And I just got so much love and encouragement that I decided to do it again, and that one sold really quickly. And so I just started out that way, just like painting a few Bibles and selling to my friends. I really wasn't expecting much and had no idea the abundance that God was going to bring out of that. So
That's so good.
yeah.
I just respect that so much, and I love the fact I know you and I have kinda talked about this off camera about how the Lord used the pivot, how he used the disappointment to then spring you into this next season of a
Yeah.
flourishing business for him.
Yeah.
So, let me ask, during that 1 year, what did the Lord teach you? What did he show you, like, when you stepped away from that first failed business?
I just learned that he's still good, and my
Mhm,
attention pivoted to just being at home with the kids and just
mhm,
more into reading my Bible and just spending that quiet time with him.
mhm.
It was definitely a waiting season, so I had to learn like patience, and
Yeah,
I felt a lot of peace though, knowing that my time was coming, and that maybe because my kids were so little, he was just giving me like what I could handle, and that he would provide eventually. I didn't know when or what that looked like. So there was a lot of peace, and there
mhm.
wasn't a whole lot of noise going on because I was off of social media. And so it was a nice year.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know we've talked about this before, but the timing of when the business actually took off, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so it happened in April, and I just kind of put a few out there.
Mhm,
I ended up um, getting invited to a market, and so I thought, there's no way that I'm going to be able to hand paint enough Bibles or inventory to like have an entire booth at a market. And so I decided at that point to get some merchandise. And I don't know if anyone is familiar with Fair, but it's like a wholesale account. And because I had the store prior, I had the 60 days worth of like funds that I could spend, and I didn't have to pay any of that back for like 60 days. And
Wow.
so I built this business by the grace of God because of that first store, had that
Mhm.
60 days,
Yeah.
kind of just already had built that trust with Fair,
Mhm.
um, and built it with the hand painted Bible. So I literally started it with like, I don't know, a Bible and some paint, and then use that money and use that 60 days. And I was really nervous because I'm like, I am going to take this leap of faith. I really feel like this is the direction God is calling me. I'm getting invited to this market. Why not give it a try?
Yeah.
Um, and just really pray that I can make this money back. And so we prayed about it and decided it was a good idea. And I ended up making all of that money back before the 60 days, which just was completely mind blowing, and
That's
was able to do it again and again and just really blossom and flourish from there. It was just kind of
okay.
like unexpected. I didn't even come up with my business name until probably August.
Oh my
I
gosh.
built my website at that point. Was really getting invited to markets, still so unsure as to where it was going. I think I was just so like at peace and relaxed with the idea, and like just kind of along for whatever ride God was taking me on.
Yeah.
So, the other thing on timing is that we hit the worst financial position we've ever been in as a family. My husband is in real estate. He took his own leap of faith and is self-employed. And it was just a really tough season financially for him. Ask anyone in real estate, last year was awful.
Yeah.
Um, and so financially, like without Faith and Flourish Co., my family wouldn't have made it through the year. Like we were, just making it bill by bill. And I really feel like Faith and Flourish Co. kept us above water. It just provided in an abundance, and my husband tells me like how grateful he was that happened. And if nothing else comes out of this business, it got us through a really hard season as a family.
Yeah.
Um, when we really needed the money. Like
Yeah.
honestly, any time before that, we would have been okay. He's always done
Mhm.
so amazing and still continues to be the provider, the sole provider of our family. But
Right.
it was definitely a season we just needed extra money. So
Yeah.
to see God work that out, because I
Mhm.
think it was right around August that things started to get hard.
Mm.
And it is around August that the business really picked up. That's when I was getting
Wow.
invited to markets. That's when my sales, like I had an inventory, I had my website. Like it's just wild to me to see. It makes me want to cry because I'm like, he really carried us through that season, and we I don't know what we would have done.
Yeah.
Um, Also in August, so when my business really started to pick up, our landlord decided to sell our rental. And
Mm.
because my husband was self-employed, like we weren't financially able to get our own house. So we had to
Right.
go to another rental. Our current rental is $1,000 more than where we were visiting.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
not only were we going into like the hardest financial season, like our rent had doubled, and we were really like kind of panicked, but also a sense of calm because we know like he's gonna carry us through. But it was kind of like, what are you doing here? How are we gonna make it through? We've got 3 kids to worry about,
Yeah.
and it really was. I mean, we were a team during that season. Faith and
Mhm.
Flourish Co. really carried us through, and I'm just so grateful for that. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, look at the
yeah,
Lord, like, that's
I
just so
know.
crazy, the timing of it all.
It really
Um,
was.
I love that so much. So,
Yeah,
and my mom, she's in loan officer mortgage, so I get
yeah,
that with the
yeah.
real estate aspect. It's a wild, wild west out there right now,
It
so
was.
I just
Yeah, it's
pray
just
grace
now
on
kind
your
of picking
husband.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was definitely our toughest season as a family. Like we've
yeah,
had hard seasons as a
right.
couple. When we
Yeah,
first got married, we were so dirt broke, but it was okay because it was the two of us. But like
right.
doing that when you have kids is really
Mhm.
scary. And
It
so
is.
we knew that we'd be okay. We knew that real estate was going to pick back up. And it just took a lot of faith. And yeah, I remember in January, I took another 40 days off of social media. And
Mhm.
I was like, this might be really hard. Like, we've been counting on this money, but I just feel in my heart that I'm supposed to take this 40 days and just pray. So I said, don't count on any sales from me. And that was kind of a tough decision to make. And I sold like 15 Bibles in January.
Wow,
15 Bibles at $100. So it really, that
wow,
was just from Etsy. I wasn't promoting, I wasn't doing anything on my end. And
wow.
so just to see like the faithfulness, like when we're faithful, like God is still going to
Mhm.
provide.
Yeah.
And it really just showed me that I'm on the right track. Like,
Yes.
okay, this is definitely where I'm supposed to be.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm learning in this season right now is the Lord is going to provide. Sometimes I feel like,
Yes.
especially as ambitious women, we want to strive, we want to be, the go-getter and things like that. But sometimes the Lord is just like, okay, slow down. Like
Yeah.
let me provide for you. Like I'm your father. Like I want to provide. And so that's so beautiful. I love that so
Yeah.
much.
It was so good. It was so
Yes.
good.
So tell us a little bit about your walk with the Lord. When did you go from religion to relationship? What did that look like for you?
So I've always kind of known of God, but I didn't grow up in a super religious household or anything. I
Mhm,
was baptized at 18,
mhm,
but wasn't really ready for that. I don't feel that I was. It kind of took a
yeah,
few more years of growing up.
mhm,
Um, and I just feel like in my adulthood and my marriage with Taylor and becoming a mom that I really found my faith and
yeah,
like learned what it means to have a personal relationship with God. Like this isn't just something we're doing. We're not just reading our Bibles. Like it's a real vulnerable thing and it's a real personal relationship. And so I
right,
was re-baptized at um, Jude was just born, so he's about to be
mm,
2, so about 2 years ago, which would
mhm,
have been a year prior to Faith and Flourish Co. 1 year.
wow,
It
wow,
was right before our business that I had with my mother-in-law shut down. I was
mhm,
re-baptized, and so
wow,
just looking at, I just feel like it all kind of fits together. Like
it
to
does,
see back, like I felt so defeated,
yeah,
especially because I felt like I'd finally stepped into my faith. It
mhm,
just took a lot of trusting him because I
mhm,
couldn't see during that struggle like how he was going to work and what he was even going to make come up. So
right, yeah, that's
yeah,
so crazy, and correct me if I'm wrong, but your business was only open for 4 months, correct?
yeah,
The
yeah. Our
Lord was
first business, it
yeah,
was called Simply Blessed with my mother-in-law. It was only 4 months. Yeah,
so
I felt like literally, we said, let's pray about it. I
yeah,
didn't feel like we gave any time to pray, to be honest. So it was
right,
just kind of like we just jumped into it.
yeah,
And within that first month, I was starting to feel like maybe this isn't where God was like leading me.
mhm,
Maybe I didn't pray about this like enough.
yeah,
And I kind of just leaned on my own understanding and jumped right into it. I definitely can see now that he was like, nope, right away. And all the doors were closing right away.
yeah.
So
So
yeah.
what's crazy is and the Lord reminded me of this as of that part of your story is because so 4 in Hebrew is dalet, and if you look
Mm,
at it, it's actually a door, and so
yeah.
last in 2024, that's known as, like, the year of the door, and so
Yeah.
I know at least in my life, 2024 was a lot of open doors, but it also was a lot of
Yeah.
closed, shut doors, and
Yeah.
so that it looks like a tent door, and obviously we know a tent door can swing both ways, and
Mm,
so it can be a shut door or it can be an open door, so however the
yeah.
Lord wants to align that in your life, but
Yeah,
so that's
that
an
was
even
definitely
extra layer.
2024 for me.
Yes.
Yeah, that was. I mean, we wanted to buy a house and we're like, nope, it's not going to work. And that door got shut again. We've been trying to buy for almost 4 years now. So hopefully
Wow.
this is the
Oh,
year.
yeah,
And the doors were shut for that. But then
yeah,
Faith and Flourish Co. happened.
yeah,
And my husband's business, though kind of tough for a couple months, is really starting to pick up. So it's like all
that's
that
so
was
good.
happening in 2024.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that's so wild, so that's just an extra
Yeah.
layer of
Yeah.
you know, an extra layer of his timing.
Yeah.
So how has your relationship with the Lord grown and progressed through having this business?
I just feel like I have so much more peace when struggle happens.
Mm,
Before, I might have just like, I think we lean a little too much on ourselves. Like, he can't carry us through. And
right.
before, I would have just been a big ball of stress and anxiety.
Yep.
And my husband and I both, we've grown so much in this area, but just the peace that we had, though it was
Mhm,
tough, like, we just kind of treated it like a game and knew that God wasn't going to let us drown. Like it
mhm,
might be tough.
amen.
It humbled us a lot. Like I would say that we have grown to be a lot more humble as a
Mm,
couple. And if like if it's in his will for us to become more successful or Faith and Flourish Co. to grow bigger than what it is or his business to take off more than what it is, I just feel like that humbleness is so important. We
mhm,
have that now and we know how to live with very, very little and we know how to live on a very tight budget. And so I
mm,
just feel like if we grow
Mhm.
financially, that we'll always have that and these lessons that we learn. So a lot of
Yeah.
humbleness, a lot of just peace when struggle happens. Like,
Yeah.
he's not going to let us fall. He's going to carry us
Mhm.
through this. So, yeah, that's
That's
what I
so
would
good.
say.
That's
Yeah.
so good. I love that. Oh my gosh. And it's so cool to see how the journeys that he takes us through as
Yeah.
to like how he's trying to develop us. What do we need to learn before the next area of our life, that next door opens, you know? So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
just, you know, growing in his strength and what he wants to teach us. Um,
Yes.
so to give a little bit of clarity, what does your business do? So I know you mentioned painting the Bible. What all
Yeah.
do you offer? What does that process look like? How long does it take to paint a Bible? All the things.
Yeah. So it started with hand painting Bibles.
Mhm.
Um, I'm probably painting Bibles every single night. I feel very grateful, but it's definitely not where I want to stay,
Yeah.
because it does take a lot of time and a lot of
Mhm.
evenings. It's taken a lot of grit. Like, been like a working stay-at-home homeschool mom, and it's
Yeah.
been a lot. And so, my husband and I have talked about like where where do we want this business to go? And
Mhm.
like, I obviously always want to paint. I feel like God has led me here and I'm very passionate about it and feel like it's my hobby outside of
Mhm.
motherhood, and it's just so important to have. Um, and so I do have the hand painted Bibles, but I'm looking into the future of possibly doing a little Hosanna revival or Love All. I don't know if you follow them, where they get their
Yes.
designs printed on the Bibles. And so
Yes.
I would really love to do that. But for now, I have the hand painted Bibles. I do some hand painted journals. Sometimes I do customs,
Yeah.
just random art or whatever. I did have the Bible studies, but I'm actually working on writing my own book, and plan to write
Ah,
more in the future.
that's
And
so
so I think
amazing.
I won't be doing so many studies anymore. I was carrying like daily grace.
Mhm.
And so I think I'm kind of stepping away from that and trusting, I'll be able to provide some of my own, because that's something I've always wanted to do as well, is write, studies. And I'm about to, get my first book published. So that's really, exciting.
Oh,
We
that's so
offer Christian
exciting.
apparel. I know, I'm so excited. We offer Christian apparel, and more recently, we do the dresses. And so,
Mm.
some like random, like Christian items or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. So what's the book gonna be about?
So it's actually my testimony.
Oh my
I've done it
gosh.
in a way that hopefully will resonate with the reader. So
Mhm,
it's kind of like my entire story from when I was a
mhm,
kid and just some things that I dealt with, in early childhood,
mhm,
leading up to just becoming a mom and struggling with like postpartum depression and all of those
mhm.
things. And so,
Wow.
and then at the end of each chapter, I just kind of open it up for the reader. Like,
Mm.
maybe they're struggling with something similar, and there are journal prompt questions, and then journaling pages for them to journal, and then a prayer after each, chapter. So
Oh my
yeah, it's
goodness.
basically done. My editor finished. I just have to go through and literally number the chapters, and then I'm
Yeah,
gonna get it printed. So
that's
it's
so
super exciting.
exciting.
Yeah,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
so
So
excited.
when it's published, I will let everybody know,
Yeah,
the listeners know, the,
yeah,
social media and stuff like that so we can promote that for you. That's so
yeah.
exciting.
Called, Beauty from the Broken.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I'm
I
so
love
excited
that.
for it. I've
That's
had
so
it
good.
like, I started it a couple years ago.
Mhm.
Um, and then I started writing the study hanging on, by a thread. I don't know if you've seen that on my stories. And in the middle of writing that, I really felt like God was leading me to finish my testimony first, finish my
Mhm.
testimony book first. So I kind of paused from that, even after promoting it on social media, and
Yeah.
probably totally threw everyone for a whirl and went back to this other book. And this
Wow,
other
wow,
book
wow,
has
wow.
finished a lot faster. I think that was for a reason as well. Like, it's my testimony. It kind of sets the foundation
Yeah.
for everything else that I, am praying about. So
Yes. Oh,
yeah,
that's so good. That's so, so good.
yeah,
I know a question that I had. So do you come up with the designs for the Bibles? Or I know you said you do customs, but do you
yeah.
come up with the designs or what does that look like?
I have come up with a couple, and the goal is to come up with like 4 to 6 this
Okay.
year. Because that is how I would be able to get them printed,
Right.
is by presenting kind of like a portfolio.
Yeah.
But I also do a lot of customs, and so I just work with my customers on what they want. So a lot of times they want
Mhm.
like their wedding venue, or I've had a couple like logos with their first, like their initials. Um,
Wow.
a favorite spot where they got proposed. Those are like the most popular ones. I've done
Mhm.
um, a lot of churches, a lot of scenes. I just did one. I don't even know where this is. That's so sad. I should look. I just shipped it out with the whale tail like statues. Why can't I think about where this is? It's like whale tail. So I've done like stuff like that, and that just it
Yeah,
is meaningful to the person that got it.
that's so good.
So we do a lot of that. We've done a lot of like combination of ideas, like a favorite place with a church, So
Right, that's so
my
good.
customers help me out a lot. They've,
Yeah,
and I just kind of try to bring the idea to life of what they're wanting.
that's
Yeah.
so cool. I definitely have a couple ideas. I'm like, maybe I should ship you my Bible and you can design something
Yeah.
for me."
Yeah.
That's so
That'd be
cool.
so fun.
Yes. How did you get so artsy? How did you learn how to draw and paint, all the things?
Yeah, so I've always loved art. I never really was a painter though. I always
Okay.
wanted to be a painter, but I just when you're going to high school, like they teach you an art, kind of the basics. We
Right.
did a lot of graphite, which I was good. I was good at
Okay.
like the drawing, the graphite, and that's kind of what I did.
Okay.
Just stuck around in my comfort zone. But after I had my first baby, Lila,
Okay.
so almost 5 years ago, I was like, I really want to learn how to paint, and so I started watercolor.
Okay.
Then I would take like a long break and then pick it up again like a year later, take a long break,
Mm,
kind of like that cycle
gotcha.
until I started painting the Bibles. So
Mm,
I've always loved art, but
okay.
haven't really painted until the last couple years. I just started. So
Interesting. That's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
I know, I'm very grateful for my high school photography class because that's what taught me photography, and then that's what, I went into a lot of different avenues just from learning the basics of
Yeah,
photography. So I always
I
tell my
love that.
husband I want a dark room in our forever home. I wanna build have that out. So, yes, thank you
Yeah, that's
for
so cool.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. It kind of just taught me the basics, I guess. So
That's so good. So this month we are doing our theme is creativity and productivity. So I
mhm.
always have to ask, what is one productivity hack that you do in a daily basis or weekly basis, monthly basis that helps you stay productive and on track with your goals?
Oh my goodness. I'm probably ADHD undiagnosed. So this is not something that comes naturally to me. I do a lot of timers, which people probably think I'm crazy, like 15-minute timers.
Okay.
Um, and so just like so routine, like try to make myself so routine. I don't stick with it always because I
Yeah.
am very like, I'm sure I have ADHD.
Same.
But I try to like wake up, have my coffee, do my Bible time, kids get breakfast. Like my routine is kind of the same every single day
Okay.
because I do homeschool. I don't do a whole lot of business
Mhm.
until evening,
Okay.
especially like painting. Usually, I'm not painting until after dinner. I take 2 hours and I paint in the evening. Um, Social media, I'll kind of sprinkle through like nap times or just little breaks in my
Yeah.
day. It's not like a solid routine because I have three kids, ages 5, 4, and almost 2.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
we do our best, but the 15-minute timer is like, I'm going to set 15 minutes. I'm going to clean this. I'm going to set 15 minutes. I'm going to work on this. Like I do that a lot all throughout my day.
Yeah.
So that really helps. It's not really structured necessarily, but it's just kind of like these are the things I have to do.
Sure.
Also do like a brain dump in the morning,
Yes.
and then I kind of prioritize like this is everything that's on my mind right now.
Yep.
Let's list it from like what needs to get done first. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough being like a stay at home working mom. I feel like it's kind of turned into that. Like my priority during the day is the house and the kids, and we're
Mhm.
homeschooling for the first time this year. Lila's
Mhm.
5, and so kindergarten, preschool.
Yep.
We do that throughout the day, and then
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Yes. So
I don't know
let's
if I
talk about
necessarily have a hack.
yeah. I am definitely gonna steal that though because I like it's almost like time blocking, but not. Like
Yeah, yeah,
you just try to
a
get
little bit
everything
chaotic time
done.
blocking.
Yeah, pretty much, but I like that better than, like, the
Yeah,
structured time blocking. I love a good
yes,
brain dump. I love a
yep,
good Post-it note, whiteboard
yep,
session, just throw it all up on the wall and just try
yeah.
to figure it all out.
It works. Sometimes,
Yeah,
like when I really don't want to clean, because I feel like that's like just one of my jobs.
yeah,
It's like a stay-at-home mom. I'll just do like 5 minutes per room. Set a
okay.
timer, 5 minutes per room. And so I don't know. I feel like my productivity is kind of like it's all the same. Like I
Yeah,
work at home, stay at home, homeschool, take care of the house, and so it's all just kind of like one big job I gotta
Yes.
make work.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I can, only imagine, especially with, homeschooling and then getting
Yeah.
work at home and all that kind of stuff, so
Yeah.
I'm sure it can
It's
be
a lot.
chaotic sometimes. So, and the second part to that question is, so of course we also have creativity as far as our theme for this month. And I know we've talked a lot about your creativity with your business and stuff like that, but how does the Lord show up for you when you are having that creative time, like when you are painting the Bibles?
Yeah, it just feels so peaceful. Like I'm not a singer, like
Yeah.
can't play an instrument. But for me, like the only thing I can compare it to is like worship. It's
Yeah.
worship and prayer time. Um, Taylor usually takes the kids to just,
Mhm.
play with them, be crazy with them, watch TV, whatever he wants
Yep.
to do with them in the evening. So that's kind of a special time for them to just be together. And then for
Right.
me, it's just quiet, put on some music, paint. Usually I'll pray about the person's Bible that I'm like working on for their wedding, for their marriage, depending on like what it is. I've
Yeah.
painted Bibles for kids, and so just praying over that. So it's
That's
really
so
just a form of worship, I feel like, since I can't sing. Like my it's like my time.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't sing
Yeah.
either, but I know for a fact when I've got my worship playlist on, I don't care who's listening. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
just me and the Lord. Like this is
Yes.
this
Oh
is
yeah.
for
I will
him.
sing. I just am not very good
Right.
at it.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's talk about, I know you mentioned it a couple times. Let's talk about your homeschooling journey. What does that
Yeah.
look like? I have had a couple guests on that are homeschooling their kids. And that
Yeah.
is something that I want to do in the future when I have kids of my own. And so I'm taking little nuggets from every guest that I have on to then
Yeah.
use that when I have my own children. So what does that look like for you for homeschooling? How did you make that decision? All that kind of stuff.
So I actually really felt unqualified to homeschool, and
Mm,
we signed the kids up for two separate private schools.
yeah.
Um, the one was like over 30, almost 40-minute drive because we ended up in a different town than we were expecting. There's
Mhm,
another door that closed, and we were like, this just isn't going to work. Like,
mm,
we can't drive 40 minutes every single day when I have a 1 year old in the
mhm,
car. Like, it's going to be over an hour drive for him. And it just wasn't going to work. And so
mhm.
we started looking at a more local private school, um, and because of that financial strain we had in August, they wanted like a large sum of money down, which we weren't
Mhm.
expecting.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, that's just not going to work. And I
Mhm.
really didn't want to send them to public school. I knew that was like private or homeschool,
Yeah,
but just really didn't feel qualified to like homeschool them, which is such a silly thing because I think anyone can homeschool their kids. It's not as
yeah,
complicated as I think we make it. And so
sure.
that was just another door that the Lord had closed and another door that He had opened. And so
Mm,
we uh we started homeschooling with the good and the beautiful, and it didn't work well for my kids. A lot of people love that. I will say it's like a great starter program. But we kind of pivoted and just kind of did what works.
mm.
My kids are five, early five. Like she turned five at the end of August, and then three just turned four. And so I felt like it was a good tester year. Like
Yeah,
if we really mess this up, it's okay
yeah,
because honestly, if Lila would have went to kindergarten, it probably would have been developmental, and then she probably would have done another year of kindergarten because she is like right on the line of like being able to attend kindergarten this year.
right.
And so that was kind of my thought process. And I was like, obviously, God is closing the doors, and I don't think I'm qualified, but He does.
Yeah,
So I'm just going to trust that. And it's been so good.
that's
I
so
am
good.
just blown away. And it makes me emotional that I almost didn't do it, that I almost sent
Mhm.
them to private schools where they would have been gone for like 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
It's just such a special time. And honestly, like our homeschool day is like an hour. Like it's really like an hour long. And then we have the
that's so
rest of the
crazy.
day to bake or play or to go to the park or I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just so wonderful. I really
Yeah,
love it.
that's so
Yeah.
good. I think
Yeah.
when people think that homeschooling is complicated, for me, I don't know why, but I think of like high school level education, and
Yeah. Yeah.
she's 5, like she's not gonna be, she's learning her
Yeah.
ABCs and how to spell her name and all the things. Like she's
Yeah.
not learning high school
Yeah.
calculus, so it's not
No. No.
something that to be super
No.
complicated.
No. Yeah. It's been amazing. Like I really felt like maybe she was going to be behind,
Mm,
and like she's already starting to read and like do math. And I'm like, we did that. Like I did that.
yeah, yeah.
So definitely was qualified. It's just so fun to see. it's
That's
such a special time to be like
yeah,
with the kids too. Just feel like I have so much
exciting.
more time while
Yeah.
they're little to just be with them.
Oh,
I
I
love
love
that.
that so much.
Yeah, I
That's
love
so
it.
good. So I know we briefly talked about what does your long-term vision for Faith and Flourish Co. And I know we talked about the printed Bibles, but
Yeah.
what is the Lord showing you? What does that vision look like for your
Yeah,
business?
I'm still really praying about it. Like
Yeah.
I personally would love a storefront, but
Mm,
I don't really know if that's a yes or a no from God yet. So it's something I'm praying
gotcha.
about. And also like we homeschool. And so I don't know if
Right.
it really fits. And this season it didn't fit before. And so
Mm,
I'm just still kind of praying about that.
yep.
Um and kind of praying about like what inventory I will carry or like not carry. And
Right.
so I do know that the printed Bibles is something I definitely want to do. I just feel
Mhm.
like that's going to be much more manageable than like painting every single evening. As they get
Sure.
older, I just know this isn't going to be like realistic to paint every single night.
Right.
Um, Although I still will take, I think, a handful of customs in a year just because I
Yeah.
enjoy it,
Yeah.
just not as many. And so
Yes.
that for sure, the printed journals and things like that, I just really want to
Mhm.
get more automated. I
Understand.
think it will be less work on myself
Yeah.
and but I'll still be able to use like my
Mhm.
creativity to like come up with the designs.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's kind
Yeah.
of the long term goal. And then writing the stories, the books.
Mhm. Yep.
So as of now,
Yep.
I don't know, it kind of just depends on what God puts on my heart, how many I
Right.
write.
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for that launch of your book, and I know it's
Yeah.
gonna help so many other moms and things like that with
I hope so.
postpartum and just hearing your
Yeah.
story, and it's gonna be so good. So I will, like I
I
said,
hope
let
so.
everyone know when that is
Yeah.
launched for you.
Yeah. Thank you. I
You're
hope
so
so.
welcome. So just to wrap up, I always do 2 rapid fire questions for every guest. What
Yeah.
is your favorite book in the Bible?
Favorite book in the Bible would probably, I mean, I feel like it's everyone's, but probably not. I really like Psalms.
Oh, yes.
Um, Especially in the season of just like
Mhm.
struggle. It's the first book in the Bible that I ever started reading.
Mm,
Um, I just think it's a great starter, especially when you're going through it. Like I just feel
yeah.
like my childhood was not always great.
Mm,
And as a kid, like not knowing where to read, what to read, like the Bible can be super overwhelming and confusing. I don't
right.
know, that was just kind of like home to me. It's like a comfort to go back there. It's the one I share when my friends are struggling or people are going through it.
Mm,
Um, so I think that one will always be mine. I know that's probably like a lot of people's, but it's just such a comfort. But
yeah.
it's kind of been the thing that started my faith.
Wow.
It's the first book that I really read through because
Yeah.
it's a lot. Like I didn't really know where to start, what to read, who God was,
Mm,
any of that. And so it just brought me a lot of peace back in my
yeah.
early like childhood days when I was
Yes.
just reading the Bible. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And actually, so you say it's everyone's, but I have not had anybody on the podcast yet say
Well,
Psalms. Yeah. Yes, I'm
wow. I
shocked.
mean, I don't know.
It's a
Yeah.
good one though. I'm shocked
Yeah.
nobody has said it up until this point.
I'm
So,
actually surprised too. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, one of the gospels would be an easy answer too, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just such a comfort for me. It's
Yeah.
kind of where it's the first one that I really read through, or like
Mm,
it's a book that you can just go to.
yeah.
I guess it's not really front and back. Not that the Bible necessarily is, but
Right.
it's just kind of poetic and
It's beautiful.
calm. I don't know. It is really
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's worship lyrics to an ex
Yeah.
like, some of them are, in my opinion, worship lyrics, and it's just a nice worship session to the Lord, like when you read Psalms, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yes. And then the second part is, what is your favorite book that is not in the Bible, but has helped you in some way, whether that's business, creativity, your walk
Yeah.
with the Lord? What is that book?
I really love, is it Forgiving What I Can't Forget,
Mm, okay.
by Lisa Turkish. And honestly, I think that's how you say her last name. I like a lot
Yeah.
of her books.
Okay.
Um, but that is definitely, I think she also wrote Uninvited, which that would probably be my number two.
Gotcha.
But Forgiving What You Can't Forget, I feel like really resonates just with
Mhm.
how I grew up. And I really struggled with that for a while. I feel like that was the thing kind of holding me back from my faith, this
Mm,
forgiveness.
yeah.
And I write about that a lot in my book as well. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Forgiveness is a huge aspect. I feel like a lot of
yeah,
That's the last piece that I feel like a lot of people don't wanna face and don't want
Yeah.
to I don't wanna say don't wanna heal because that's not the right word, but they don't wanna
Well,
face it, if you know what I
yeah.
mean. I know
I think
Yeah, go ahead.
I think people mistake forgiving someone as okaying what they did, and that's not
Mhm.
the truth. Like,
Right,
we're not forgiving them and saying when we forgive them that what they did was okay, because what they
right.
did maybe wasn't okay.
Yeah,
Um, but it really is for you as well.
100%.
And it's just like a heart thing. So
Yes.
yeah, I had to grow a lot in that area.
Mhm. For sure, and I feel like the Lord is always healing us and molding us in that way because
Yeah,
people are not perfect and
yeah,
we have free will. I say
yeah,
unfortunately sometimes because
yeah.
sometimes people don't deserve
Sometimes,
free will. 'Cause, like,
right?
but that's a topic for another day. That's
Yeah,
between me and
yeah,
the Lord. Well, Sabrina, I have loved our conversation and I hope everybody else does as well. Tell us, where can we find you? Where can we support your business? All the
yeah.
things. Shout
So
yourself out.
mostly on Instagram. I feel like that's where I post the most. I
Yep.
do connect Instagram with Facebook, but I'm on
Yep.
Instagram.
Yeah.
At Faith and Flourish Co.
Okay.
And then I have my website, which is just faithandflourishco.com. And so those are kind of the two spots that you can find me. Yeah.
Yes, amazing. And
Yeah.
actually, again, shout out Instagram Threads because that's how we got connected. And I love she
Yes.
is on
Yeah.
Instagram Threads and posts some awesome stuff on there as well. So go
Yeah.
definitely
And
check out her
actually,
threads.
Instagram Threads is another one that's just like totally linked to my Instagram. And it just makes my job so much easier. Like sometimes I forget it's there and I'm like, oh my
Yep.
goodness, like it keeps telling me I have followers or like people find me on Instagram from Threads. And I'm like, I kind of forget that it's there
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not a social media person. So that's kind of been a learning curve as a business owner. So it's
Okay.
nice that like Instagram connects to Facebook
Right.
and Threads.
All the threads. It's
Yeah.
mindless, just a little bit of extra effort with mindless,
Yes.
actions.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yes. Yeah. We're still active on there, even though I'm hardly getting on there right now.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sabrina, for coming on the
Yeah.
podcast today. Guys, go check
Thank
out her stuff,
you.
go support her, and I hope you guys enjoy this conversation.
Thank you so much.
You're so
We'll see ya.
welcome. You're welcome back anytime.
Bye. Thank you.
I hope this episode blessed you today. If it did, please rate and review the show. It helps grow the podcast to reach more Proverbs 31 creatives just like you. Don't forget to follow the show so you'll automatically be notified when the next episode drops. I'll be praying for you. See you next week.